Boy, do we have a lot to dissect from the Qatar Grand Prix. You're now watching Track Limits. Welcome to another episode of Track Limits with me, John the Motorsport Enthusiast, and this week we have the Qatar Grand Prix, the second to last race in the Formula One season. Let me tell you, this race was wild. My notes for this one exceeded one page. I'm on to 2 pages now because there was so much that happened. But let's dive into everything that went on. Now let's start off with the race itself and my notes. So the first note that I put is cars off everywhere. The first lap was absolutely insane. I mean, cars were going off left and right. There was gravel on the track. Cars were spinning. It was insanity. Therefore, we had a safety car on lap 1. Hulkenberg spun, got into Esteban Ocon. Rip, he is not going to be driving for Alpine this weekend in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And Ocon got into Colapinto. All the races effectively done. And pretty soon after that, the other Williams driver, Alex Albon, got hit by none other than Mr. Lance Stroll, and Lance Stroll got a 10-second time penalty. Then, out of nowhere, Mr. Liam Lawson spun, and then Stroll retired his car on lap 10. And back-to-back races where Mr. Lance Stroll is out. How long can this last? I'm just going to leave that question there. Then on lap 12, Liam Lawson was given a 10-second time penalty. And let me tell you, this race was full of penalties. It was then decided Lewis Hamilton got a 5-second penalty because of a false start. Then we had a beautiful pass by Fernando Alonso passing Yuki Tsunoda. And then I have the notes ride, which these drivers simply were just riding around, not much happening for a decent portion of the race. George Russell went into the pits. He had a bad pit stop, a 7-second stop. He lost a couple positions. And then Mr. Lewis Hamilton had an incredible save on lap 29 where I thought he was wrecked. Then we had the controversy with the FIA, the mirror that was on the track, and the cautions that ensued afterwards. That should have been called way before. So there was a mirror that was on the track, and it was not in the direct racing line. It was actually in the overtaking portion of the track. If somebody tried to overtake somebody going into one, they would possibly hit the mirror. Well, lap after lap, no caution was called. There were double yellow flags in the sector, but there was no official virtual safety car or safety car. Personally, I thought that there should have been a safety car immediately. There was a piece of the car that was on the track. If a driver tried to overtake somebody and just completely not even see that, that could lead to, well, what eventually happened. Valtteri Bottas was getting out of the way of a Ferrari and literally dead smack in the middle of his car hit the mirror. Pieces go everywhere on the track, which resulted in a Carlos Sainz puncture as well as a Lewis Hamilton puncture. So a virtual safety car at least should have been deployed before anybody hit the mirror. A virtual safety car or a normal safety car should have been released when Bottas hit the mirror. And then there should have been a safety car directly when 2 drivers, seemingly back-to-back, blew tires. But they waited what I think is a very long time to actually call a safety car. That's why you see in my notes I said, what the... And everything starts to unravel from here. So they couldn't drive down the front stretch because of how much debris was on the track, which tells me that there should have been a safety car way before. Either way, since they can't go on the front stretch, they have to bring the cars down pit road, and Lando locks it up pretty severely, causing 2 flat spots, a double flat spot on his left front and his right front. But apparently Hamilton made Lando lock up. Lando claims that Hamilton brake checked him going into pit road as they hit the line. After that, the safety car ended on lap 39 going into lap 40. During the launch, Sergio Perez got hit from behind, lost all drive, and spun the car. We then went from a virtual safety car now to a full safety car. So 2 safety cars. Not only because Sergio spun, but because Hulkenberg spun as well. And then we have the Lando Norris controversy where he did not slow down under a double yellow flag on the front stretch when there was that mirror on the track that a caution should have been called for laps before, right? Now he's under investigation for not slowing under the yellow flag condition. Now, to be clear, a yellow flag does not mean a virtual safety car or a full safety car. It just means that a portion of the track, there's something going on, so you have to slow down if there's a double yellow flag. I have a note here that says Nico just lost it. He literally just spun the car and got stuck. So that's why a caution came out. Also because the tires were very cold and they were trying to restart. They were struggling with tire heat all night long. You saw the cars and all the drivers weaving in and out during caution laps multiple times. Alonso then goes on the mediums, and apparently there were some sparks and vibration from Oscar Piastri. That's apparently what he said, but the team said everything looks good. So could we have another Pierre Gasly incident? Then the verdict comes out that Lando Norris will get a 10-second stop-and-go penalty for not slowing down, and that was on lap 44. Apparently, new telemetry has come out that neither Ferraris did either, but they did not penalize the Ferraris. They only penalized Lando. More controversy around Ferrari. Then Alex Albon runs into Kevin Magnussen. At this point, they were riding around just for a little bit of time, and I said the Constructors' Championship is now flipped because Lando Norris getting out of the points is closing the gap of the Constructors' Championship to just 21 points going into the last race, which is something that Ferrari can overcome. The next piece of information is Mr. Lewis Hamilton getting a drive-through penalty for speeding on pit road. This goes back to what happened between him and Lando Norris. So yeah, Lando was actually right. He did speed on pit road. And technically, I guess he did brake check him to try to make pit road speed. Therefore, Lando did have the flat spot. So either way, Lewis got a penalty. We have some more action between Albon and Kevin Magnussen. Albon forces K-Mag off again. And then Lewis Hamilton retires the car on lap 49 after literally saying he didn't want to race anymore. He literally came over the radio and was like, I'm going to retire this car myself. They were like, no, you can't do that. Then he brought him down pit road the next lap and he retired. And then we saw the sparks fly between Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon for the last time, where Mr. Kevin Magnussen drove right past Mr. Alex Albon going into turn 1 and says "F off" over the radio. I thought that was pretty cool. Good for K-Mag. And then Alex Albon got a 10-second penalty, so in the end, K-Mag won. After all that being said, Mr. Max Verstappen got the win. Charles Leclerc came in second, and Oscar Piastri finished in third. And that leads us to the last race of the Formula One season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this weekend. There's a couple talking points that we need to discuss. Talking point number 1, Esteban Ocon has been kicked to the curb, and Mr. Jack Doohan has been filled in as that driver, and he will be running in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for Alpine this weekend. In championship standing news, when you come to the drivers, obviously Max Verstappen won the Drivers' Championship, but there's 8 points separating Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. There's a lot of points that can be gained this weekend, so that's going to be a championship battle you do not want to miss, just like the championship battle that's going on in the Constructors' Championship between McLaren and Ferrari. Now, with only 21 points separating McLaren and Ferrari, if we see another issue with one out of the 2 McLaren drivers and Ferrari has a 1-2 finish or even a 2-3 finish, this championship could literally come down to just a few points. Let's talk about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The 16-corner Yas Marina circuit is one of the most intense on the calendar. It's one of my favorite racetracks as well, and the race will be 58 laps. The first Grand Prix was held in 2009. The circuit length is 5.281 kilometers, and the race length is 306.1 kilometers. Lap record held none other by Mr. Max Verstappen in 2021 with a lap time of 1 minute and 26.103 seconds. The 16-corner Yas Marina circuit has 2 DRS detection zones,
the first being between turn 4 and turn 5,
and the second being between turn 7 and turn 8. The first DRS zone is between turn 5 and turn 6, and the second DRS zone is being between turn 8 and turn 9. Now let's dive into when the racing action is going to take place this weekend. So racing action starts on December 6th and goes to December 8th. All these times will be in Eastern time. Let's start off the weekend on Friday, December 6th. From 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m., you have practice number 1, followed by practice number 2 between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Time. On Saturday, December 7th, you have practice 3 between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m., with qualifying from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Then on Sunday, December 8th, you have the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that starts at a lovely 9 a.m. in the morning. For all you Pacific Coast people, I pray for you. That race starts at 6 a.m. on a Sunday. And I'm curious, what did you think about this weekend's Qatar Grand Prix? What do you think about the safety car controversy? What do you think about Lando Norris getting penalized when Ferrari didn't? A lot of talking points. What do you think about potentially Sergio Perez not being in a Red Bull next year? All of these different things. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another episode of Track Limits or any other content that's going out on ATYL Media. And for any other independent content that you want to see from me, I drop my social links in the description, as well as the social links of ATYL, so you don't miss anything motorsport related. We've exceeded track limits just like Lando did in Coda. I'll see you next time.